Then suddenly this sad clown appears in front of me. This incident ruined my life. For 10 years I haven't seen any of my family. I was 5, almost 6. I never knew my father. My mother told me he left her very young. I was raised mostly by my mother and grandmother. Many cherish their childhood. I curse her. We weren't rich, but we lived comfortably shy. I was easy prey for bullies. My only friend Amanda was always watching over me. The day before I turned 10, my mother picked me up from school in the car. She said to me, "You're 10 tomorrow. How about a theme party?" I smiled. "What subject, Mom?" She said, "We'll decorate the garden and order your favorite strawberry cake. You can invite friends. It will be fine, Jeremy." I was thrilled to hear his plans at home. My mother and grandmother started the preparations. I called Amanda and invited her. My mother telephoned the neighbor to invite them to the party tomorrow. With a big smile, I went to bed that night. The next morning my mother woke me up. I got so many presents. After 12 entry, the garden was full of happy children and their parents. There were balloons everywhere. We were playing when a kid yelled, "Look, there's a clown here." I saw a man in a clown costume. In the distance, his goofy red and skillful hair made him funny. He had a big red smile on his white face and big bright eyes. In a high-pitched voice he said, "Where is the hero of the day?" Amanda replied, "Jeremy is here." The clown looked at me. Our eyes met. He smiled even more. He approached strangely and leaned towards me. I was uncomfortable. He said, "Jeremy, you're a big boy now. I have a special gift for you." Then he laughed. I didn't like his presence. But clowns are common at birthdays. I wasn't afraid of clowns, but he gave me chills. I said hesitantly, "What a gift." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a wooden box. When I opened it, I found a stack of colored pencils. It was a generous gift and I thanked the clown. The clown laughed and said, "We're friends now, Jeremy." I stood there, uncomfortable, not knowing what to say. That's when my mom came in, patted me on the back and said we had to cut the cake. The clown looked at my mother and his face changed. He obviously didn't like the interruption. Everyone gathered around the cake placed on the wooden table. 10 candles were lit on the cake. When I took the knife, the clown said, "Make a wish, Jeremy. It will come true." I blew out the candles without wishing for anything, to be honest. The birthday party was going well. The clown was playing with other kids but staring at me, smiling when I looked at him. I was on the swing, eating my cake. When Marco approached, Marco was a bully. In my school, we were in the same class and unfortunately also in the same neighborhood. He was often really mean to me. That day, to avoid trouble, I stayed quiet. Marco started teasing me, saying the party was boring. I didn't say anything, but he launched, "If you had a father, your party would be more fun," by mocking. Offended, I replied in an angry tone, "You have to leave, then no one wants you here, Marco." He turned all red and pushed me off the swing. It was low so I didn't hurt myself, but my cake fell. My parents intervened and his mother apologized. To him, my mother downplayed it, saying it was normal between angry children. I went up to my room. My mother was calling me, but I stayed at the window to calm down. From there I could see the whole garden, and that's when I noticed something. Marco was playing with a group of kids from our school. The clown was standing very close to him when he ran towards a child. I saw the clown suddenly push him. Marco fell, hit a rock and broke his chin. His tooth fell out and he began to cry in pain. I saw everything clearly from my window. It happened so fast that everyone thought it was an accident, but I saw the clown pushing it on purpose. His parents left the party to take him to the hospital. The clown looked at my window and smiled. I got the impression he did it to punish Marco. For me, at that moment, angry and young, I thought Marco deserved it. I went down and saw the kids leave. My mother told the parents of the other children about the accident. I was alone on the porch of our house. Suddenly I turned my head and my heart jumped. The clown approached and stood beside me in silence. I was scared when I saw him, but he leaned over and said, "I'm your friend Jeremy, this will be our little secret." I figured he knew I'd seen him push Marco. That's when my mom called me to bring in the presents. I went to my mother. When I turned around, the clown was gone. My mother was just as perplexed. She said, "Where's the clown? I couldn't even pay for it." 2 or 3 days later I went to the park with Amanda. We were playing by the porch when I heard a voice behind me. "Hello Jeremy, do you remember me?" The clown was standing behind me. With a creepy smile Amanda said, "Hey, you were at Jeremy's birthday." The clown smiled and said yes. "And I came back to you. He gave us candy and asked how your friend Marco is." I looked at Amanda and I stammered, "He's fine now." The clown seemed to want to spend time with us, but my mother rushed over to us. "Why don't you leave these kids alone? I know what you did to poor Marco. Jeremy told me you pushed him. Listen, you freak, if you don't get out of here, I'm calling the cops." The clown backed away. I saw his cheerful smile turn into a wicked, evil grin. He then looked at me and said, "Don't be afraid, Jeremy. I will always be your friend." Then he walked away in silence. I knew my mother was furious and I felt that he would not forget this insult. It was March 10th. Yeah, I'll never forget that day. I would come home from school. Amanda and I would often come home together. When I got home, I waved to him. And I walked to the porch, turned the handle, and I walked in. Mom usually watched TV when she was off, but that day the house was awfully quiet. I said, "Mom, I came home," but no answer. I said again, "Mom, where are you? I'm hungry." Still nothing. A chill ran through me. I felt that something was wrong in the house. I walked into the kitchen and what I saw chilled my blood. The clown was sitting on the floor in front of a pool of blood. He smiled at me. "Welcome, Jeremy. Do you want to see something funny?" He dipped his hand in blood, his fingers dripping. He began to lick them. I screamed and the clown laughed. Her crazy laugh echoed in the empty house. Crying, I asked, "She's all mummy, what did you do to her?" He got up furious. "Your mother? It's not your mother. She hid you from me for years. I'm your father, Jeremy, you're my son." He pulled something behind the table. I was speechless, shocked by what was happening in my life. The ultimate horror occurred when the clown slit my mother's throat, leaving her lifeless and covered in blood. The clown looked at me and laughed. I screamed louder, not believing my eyes. Neighbors gathered in front of our house. The clown didn't even try to run away. He was staring at my dead mother with a psychotic look. The police arrived and arrested her. I learned that he was my real father, imprisoned for serious crimes. Hence the silence of my mother released on bail. Before my birthday he came to get me. I was near my grandmother. We were crying when the paramedics took my mother away. The neighborhood watched, frightened. The police took the clown away. He told me, "Jeremy, I will always be your friend." I am lost. I no longer make friends and I avoid my loved ones. I don't know if he's been sentenced to death. but I'm too disturbed to know. My grandmother sent me to boarding school. Since then, I have been running away from my past. My grandmother was obsessed with dolls. This obsession turned the house into a doll museum. She was collecting them everywhere, really everywhere. One day I went shopping with my grandmother. On her way home she saw a doll broken on the side of the road. She picked it up and brought it home. So, I grew up surrounded by not all friendly dolls. My grandfather was a popular ventriloquist. Being young, I think that's how Grandma got interested in dolls. My dad was in the Navy, and my mom died when I was 5. My grandparents raised me. I only saw my dad once or twice a year during the holidays. Not having a mother made me sad, but grandmother filled me with love. I was getting used to the dolls until Grandpa got a package. Unwrapping the Ralu paper, we found a clown doll in a wooden box. I've seen lots of dolls, but this one really freaked me out. It could be his size. She was almost as tall as a small child. The more I stared at his face, the more it gave me goosebumps. Grandpa said that his buddy Marco, a ventriloquist, was using this puppet, a clown, as a ventriloquist puppet. It was really weird. There was a letter in the package. My grandfather opened the letter and read it aloud. Dear Samuel, if you are reading this, it means that I am no longer of this world. You've been a good friend, even though we haven't seen much of each other in recent years. I give you the responsibility of Willie. You know he can be grumpy if he's not treated right. Treat him simply as a member of your family. Include him in your meals and always make him sleep in his box. Don't put him anywhere else. He doesn't like change. I only trust you with him, your dear friend Marco, Grandma said in surprise. What prudence for a simple doll. Grandpa laughs. Haven't you seen Marco with Willie? At the time he treated Willie like his own son. He told me that Willie cried all night because Marco forgot to kiss him. These stories didn't seem adorable to me, but rather scary. But over time, I realized that something was really wrong with this clown. Surprisingly, my grandparents started to treat Willie like a real member of the family. Maybe he felt bad for Marco. I was already annoyed by the presence of this doll, so I stayed as far away from it as possible. One night at dinner, I was going to eat. When Granny said Cassie brought Willie reluctantly, I obeyed to avoid talking about it. The clown's eyes and smile gave me the impression that a real person lived underneath. His expression was so vivid and equally frightening. After dinner, I went to bed. Grandpa took Willie and put him in his box. My room was right next to the doll's room. I was sleeping when noises of not waking me up. I thought I was dreaming. But I soon felt someone outside my door watching me. Frightened, I got up and turned on the light. I'd closed my door, but it was wide open. At breakfast I asked Grandpa if he had come, but neither he nor Grandma had returned. That wasn't the only incident that started to scare me. Later I was watching TV alone and the doll was clearly visible from my seat. Unfortunately, Grandpa kept the clown right in front of my room. My eyes would often turn to the doll. The clown seemed to stare at me, which irritated me. Running out of patience, I stood up. I took a white sheet to cover the doll back. I watched TV quietly. 15-20 minutes passed without incident. Suddenly I heard a cough. I thought it was my grandmother. I ignored it. The cough intensified like a choking. Grandpa ran over thinking I had a problem. Seeing me, he was also shocked. Looking for the origin, I looked at the doll room. The sheet covering Willie was stained with blood. Spitting, my grandpa and I rushed in and lifted the blanket. There were drops of blood on Willie's lips. Needless to say, we were completely freaked out. Grandpa told me, "Did you cover it, Cassie?" I did. "Well, yeah. I was watching the TV and his eyes were screwing my chips. It's just a doll, right?" Grandpa said, looking lost, "It's weird. Why is there blood on his lips? No one has been able to explain it, but since then I'm sure this doll is haunted." I couldn't tell my grandparents. They didn't know what to think. But what happened that night traumatized me for life. After dinner, I went to my room and went to bed. I kept thinking the cough came from Willie. But can a mere doll do all that? That question was driving me crazy. I don't remember when I fell asleep, but something weird woke me up. I felt someone breathing on my face as I opened my tired eyes. It took me a while to figure it out, but as soon as I realized it, my heart almost stopped. Willie the clown was there, near my bed, glowing on me, his eyes so close. I didn't know if it was real or a nightmare. That's when I saw his eyes turn blood red, his face full of rage, as if he wanted to kill me. I wanted to scream, but he silenced me with a cold finger. "Shh, Cassie." He steps back, grinning with his big yellow teeth. Suddenly Willie floated and jumps on me. I screamed and hit him. The doll fell to the floor with a thud. My grandparents came running and found me in tears on my bed, Willie lying on the floor. I knew it wasn't a dream, and I couldn't keep this doll anymore. My grandfather turned on the light, and I told him exactly what had happened. Then he approached the doll and picked it up. But who would have guessed that the real horror was yet to come? Looking closely at Willie's face, he said, "What is it? Looks like there's something underneath this doll." He sat down in a nearby chair. My grandmother and I stood motionless, frightened eyes. The shock of the lamp had cracked Willie's forehead in the left corner. My grandfather began to remove the fiber coating. After a while we discovered a terrible truth. A small wand skeleton lay under the doll with human remains inside. Grandpa went to the police, who learned that Marco had lost his son to the black fever. To keep his son close to him, Marco had put his skeleton in the clown doll. The police burned the doll. Since then, my grandparents have never brought a doll into our house. My name is Peter, and this is the most memorable memory of my life. This event happened when I was 12 years old. My father often changed jobs, so we moved a lot. We once lived in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The company gave us an old house to live in. In the morning, I was helping my mother unpack our things. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. My father was at work. We were both at home. I ran to the door and opened it. I saw an old lady on the porch of our house. She smiled and said, "Your mother is here." I called my mom and they started talking. I learned that this old lady was our next-door neighbor. Apparently, she was also an important member of the city council. She invited us to the annual parade and fireworks the following Saturday. My mother gladly agreed, and the old lady left that evening when Dad came home. Mom told her everything. My parents were happy to go, but I knew I would be bored. Being a kid is not easy, and I hated every move. Anyway, we all dressed up and went to the county's annual parade. The party was held in a huge local park. People greeted us and the old woman introduced my parents to the counselor. I got an ice cream from the truck and sat on a wooden bench. A group of 7-8 people paraded in crazy costumes in the park. Everyone was having a good time. The fireworks started and I watched them, fascinated. I don't know how long I stayed there, but a noise startled me. I heard a faint sob nearby. My eyes swept the park for a few seconds and that's where I saw him. Under a tree, to my left, a very tall figure stood in the shadows. He was a man, but I couldn't make out his face. The only thing that struck me was his weird shoes. I was trying to understand. When the tall man came out of the shadows, it was a man dressed in a clown costume. His outfit explained his wacky shoes as he looked at him. A malaise came over me. Unlike normal clowns, he was very different. Tears flowed, ruining her creepy makeup. His face was sad. He stood there staring at me. His gaze paralyzed me. I could no longer move. I had the impression of being glued to the benches. I don't know how long it lasted, but it seemed forever. The man didn't blink. He didn't even move. He stood there looking sad, staring at me. Suddenly fireworks went off and I came to my senses. I looked up at the tree, but it was gone. That night when I got home, I slept badly. I even had a terrible nightmare. I was alone in this deserted park. The park was empty, terribly silent, with no noise around. Suddenly I heard sobs. I turned around and saw a sad clown near the park, blocking my way. He whispered uncomfortably. After moaning for a while, the clown said, "I want to smile. Can you make me smile?" He took out a shiny knife and having cut his mouth, I could hear the sound of flesh being torn. The more he cut himself, the more his moans grew. I tried to run but I fell. That's when I woke up drenched in sweat. I didn't tell my parents because I knew they wouldn't believe me. A few days passed and I almost forgot about this clown. I went to school in my neighborhood, met Sarah, a girl who lived near me. She was kind from the first day and we quickly became friends. Sarah and I often went home together after school. One day, while walking, she started talking about the history of the city. She mentioned the annual parade, bringing back memories of the scary clown. I say in a hesitant voice, "Yes, I was there that night, but the parade clown seemed really weird to me." Sarah, surprised, asked, "What clown?" I replied, "Well, there was this clown who irritated me by making a sad face." Before she disappeared, Sarah interrupted me. She asked, "Are you sure he was a clown?" Was I acquiescing? "Yeah, everybody knows what a clown looks like," Sarah says in a low but serious voice. "This is Green Bay, Wisconsin. The clowns are over. Here, it's even a bit taboo." Since 2016, people believe that clowns bring bad luck. I asked, perplexed, what happened in 2016? Sarah explained to me how criminals dressed as clowns terrorized the area, scaring the locals. Life became a nightmare because of these killer clowns, until the cops caught them and even shot some to put an end to it. Sarah added that locals believe the spirits of these dead clowns still haunt the place. The sun was setting, and the sky was darkening. We realized it was getting late and the streets were deserted. Sarah waved to me and went to her house on the right. Although my home is 10 minutes away, I accelerated my pace, his story having frightened me a little. The memory of this terrifying dream invaded my mind again. I admit without shame that I was scared blue at that moment. I chose the shortcut through the park. The park was deserted and I started walking through it. After a few steps, fear seized my heart. I felt someone watching me. Turning around, I saw the most chilling scene. The sad clown of my dream was at the entrance to the park. Despite the darkness, I could see his terrifying face. I told myself it was my imagination and I accelerated. Suddenly, rapid footsteps echoed behind me as I turned around. I saw the clown charging towards me, his arms wide open, his face streaming with tears of blood. The way he stared at me totally freaked me out. I thought if he caught me, he would kill me without hesitation. I screamed at the top of my lungs and ran to my house. I didn't look back. I didn't stop. I just ran for my life. I don't remember the end, but my mother heard a loud bang and yelled at me as she opened me. She found me passed out on the porch. A high fever kept me in bed for a week. My mother says I was moaning, fearing I would be killed if I was caught. My mother still doesn't know what happened to her son. That day, my father changed jobs. We moved to the grandparents. I've never been back to this town since, avoiding clowns like the plague. Sometimes I dream that I'm running on an empty road, with no pursuer.